Hello 442, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. I'm Zac Djellab and the great people at 442 have asked me today to make a video for them and jump on some content and talk a little bit about Barcelona. Now, if you know me, then I hope you are doing very well. Thank you for checking me out on here and I hope you enjoy the video. And if you don't know me, well, I've been making football videos for nearly 10 years now over on a few different channels, including my own. I'm no Adam Cleary, that is for sure. He's a legend of the game and I hope to honour his name in the best way I possibly can by talking enthusiastically about football. And as you can see by the title of the video, we're going to be talking about Barcelona and more specifically La Masia, one of the greatest academies in football that once produced the likes of Lionel Messi, Xavi and Iniesta, along with a lot more. Now, we all remember the days when La Masia graduates were the heart and soul of the Barcelona team, but things changed quite quickly during the mid-2010s and went from a club that focused on the academy to a club that shifted its focus onto big money transfers and external signings, and the homegrown talent was sidelined. So we'll explore why Barcelona stopped producing so many academy products into the first team, what made them abandon their core roots, and most importantly, why they're turning back to La Masia, a decision that has already coincided with a very good season. So let's start off with a little bit of history. La Masia wasn't just a training ground, but essentially was the identity of FC Barcelona. In the early 2000s, the academy produced a golden generation that revolutionised the club and won countless titles and many other trophies, along with changing the way football was played. In 2012, there was the headline The 11 from La Masia, when Barcelona first fielded a full squad, a full starting 11 of 11 Barcelona Academy graduates. This included the likes of Victor Valdés in goal, Carlos Puyol, Gerard Piqué, Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, and of course Lionel Messi up top, along with some others, Pedro being another one. But then, in the following years, Barcelona's strategy shifted. Under presidents like Bartomeu, the club started spending astronomical amounts of money and brought in a bunch of high-profile signings that weren't coming from the academy, the likes of Neymar and Luis Suarez, who ended up being not too bad. Now, whilst those two worked out quite well for Barcelona, winning the Champions League along other things, there were other signings that didn't quite work out so well. And later on, we saw this move create a two-folded problem. Number one, it's quite easy to realise, but with more players coming in from other clubs and more money being spent on them, there was a lack of first-team opportunities for academy players. And rather than giving them time to develop and try and become a solution for the club, it meant that Barcelona instead tried to find high-profile, costly fixes that wouldn't necessarily beat the club for a long time. And secondly, a cultural shift. With a constant influx of foreign players, it means Barca's identity, something that was grown when you're in the academy, tiki-taka, playing with the ball at your feet, pass and move, meant that it wasn't happening as much. It was fading away. As one commentator put it, he said La Masia was no longer the first option. It became a secondary route. Now, statistics back this up. Between 2010 and 2015, the majority of the first team was made of La Masia graduates, but seasons after, there was a significant drop-off from academy players making the cut. During that period, from 2010 to 2015, homegrown talents from La Masia made up roughly 50 to 60% of the first team roster. Now, in the following seasons from 2015, that number dropped massively to 15 to 20%. And it meant that a lot of promising young talents went and moved elsewhere to find first team opportunities. Dani Olmo, Xavi Simons, Marc Cubarsi and Nico Gonzalez all left Barcelona. Now, the fact that these guys had to move to other huge clubs to get the opportunities shows you that not only were they losing players because they couldn't get first team minutes, they were losing great quality players that other huge clubs were after. And also shows that Masia was able to still create players that could perform on the biggest stage. And sadly for fans, it was a painful departure from what tradition felt like at Barcelona. The club's identity built on teamwork, technical skill, passing, a shared understanding of something they had learnt when they were kids at the academy, basically started to suffer. Now, if you fast forward to today, obviously things in the Barcelona squad have changed yet again. And there's a few different reasons as to why. Financial constraints and huge debts that were rising forced Barcelona to re-examine their current transfer strategy. With less money to spend on summer and winter transfers, it meant the club had to go back to what they know best, their academy. Enter the new era under managers like Xavi and more recently Hansi Flick, a man with a clear vision for the game. He has been super supportive about the growth of homegrown players, and in a recent interview said, "We have 17 or 18 players who can play minutes. That is fantastic." And the club's successful season so far is a real big testament to that change. Under Xavi, of course, a couple of seasons ago, they won La Liga. Now this season, they've already won the Supercopa under Flick. They're currently top of La Liga at the time of recording. They are level on points with Real Madrid, but again, a star-studded Real Madrid. They're still in the Copa del Rey. They're also one of the most feared teams in the Champions League, and they're set to face Borussia Dortmund in that competition in the quarterfinals. And then you can just look at some of the players they're producing. I mean, my God. On the right wing, they've got one of the most exciting players in the world right now in La Masia graduate, Lamine Lamal. At just 17 years old, he's already breaking record after record after record. I mean, just one to mention, he's the youngest scorer in El Clasico history. I think he's one of the youngest scorers in, if not the youngest scorer in European competition history. They just keep going. And of course, they've got other super exciting players like Pau Cubarsi, who's basically evolutionized that Barcelona defense and has been crucial to the way Barcelona want to play under Hansi Flick. Not to forget Marc Casado, who's doing really well in the heart of midfield as well, along with a bunch of others who are making significant contributions. And when reflecting on the resurgence of homegrown talent getting back into the Barcelona side, the former Barcelona La Masia director, Rulli Altamira, remarked, "La Masia has always been the quickest and safest way to produce ready-made players for Barcelona. And now, more than ever, it's vital we protect and nurture that tradition." The previous manager, Hansi Flick, Xavi, had also echoed these same statements, repeatedly praising academy graduates for their fearless attitude, a trait he believes sets them apart from other players. These insights highlight a huge and deliberate shift that is happening at the Camp Nou and bringing their attention and focus back on the academy and what they can do for the first team. And again, the numbers back this up. Barcelona's resurgence has been super impressive. So far this season, the team has already scored 124 goals across all competitions and remain unbeaten in 15 matches this year. Now, their dynamic play, combined with the confidence and very impressive technical prowess of these young talents, has revitalised the club's traditional tiki-taka style, plus with a little bit of sprinkled German magic from Hansi Flick. And you can really put what's happened down to three key stages here. Firstly, the financial necessity. With reduced transfer budgets, it meant they had to bring players through. Secondly, managerial philosophy. Coaches like Xavi and Flick all believe in youth and the development of them and how good La Masia actually is. And thirdly, a cultural reconnection. The return of La Masia players to the first team is reconnecting fans with the values that they feel Barcelona should have. And players themselves are actually shocked to see what's happened at Barcelona and what's gone right for them. Pau Cubarsi said in an interview, "They told us 3 years ago that Lamine and I would be here, and we wouldn't believe it." And there was also a huge change in 2014. To find these high-level academy players, they got the academy coaches to go scouting for these players. The club believed it would mean that Barcelona would go back to their roots and be able to find players who would fit their system because the coaches know what makes a Barca player. Now, I've mentioned him a few times, but we do have to go back to Hansi Flick because he's an important piece of the puzzle and his tactical system just embraces youth. Now, Flick's approach is something that is aggressive yet structured and really blends the high pressing style that he wants along with fluid transitional attacking play. Now, when you look at the system, it perfectly suits players who grew up in La Masia with Barcelona's style of play. For example, Lamine Lamal's ability to take on a defender and put in a precise cross, find the right dribble, to put in a shot into the top left-hand corner, all happens because of this. Now, under Flick, the team hasn't just got better in the attacking phase, they've also got better with collective pressing as well. One key stat is that Barcelona now average over 8.7 high turnovers per game. Basically, it means winning the ball back up the pitch, high in the opposition's half. You could just see Barcelona do this in every single game. They have a high line with the defence, high line with the midfield, and the attack is super high as well. All pressing really together in a collective way. And that's a huge improvement based off of previous seasons. And a lot of that, I think, is due to the youngsters who are really proving the way this can be done in the team. Now, the impact of going back to La Masia is clear. Barcelona aren't just surviving, they're not bobbling along, they're absolutely thriving. I mentioned earlier, they're one of the most feared teams in Europe right now. They've overcome the transfer mania era of bringing in super high profile players who don't necessarily do what they were set out to achieve at the club. Griezmann comes to mind. Griezmann was absolutely fine at Barcelona, but he didn't become the superstar that I think everyone wanted him to be with the fee that was paid. And they've gone back and shown the world that a club focused on its own identity can compete at the highest level. Now, as the season progresses, the blend of youth, tactical intelligence, and a deep-rooted footballing philosophy will no doubt bring even more success. To sum up, the journey of La Masia from a sidelined academy now to a cornerstone of a very successful Barcelona side is quite simply remarkable. By stopping the over-reliance on expensive transfers and returning to the nurturing of their own talent, it means Barcelona is not only reconnected with its identity, but has also set itself on a sustainable path for the future, continuing the growing number of over 200 academy players making their first team debut since 1979. The numbers, the style, the passion on display all point to one thing and one thing only: La Masia is back. So there we have it. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this deep dive on La Masia, the rise, the fall, and the rise again of Barcelona's academy, and one of the most historic academies in the world. If you have enjoyed it, then please like the video, subscribe to the FourFourTwo channel. Let them know you've enjoyed it. Hopefully, I'll see you guys all again here on this channel. You can check me out by searching my name, Zac Djellab, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Let us know as well down below what other clubs you'd like us to cover, stories, players, whatever it might be. Maybe we'll do it as well. So see you later. Thanks, guys. Bye.